Good afternoon, badass artists. I'm Mia Luyando. We are back today. We are working on our cute little angel. She is the cover of our latest book, Celestia. We have a new book coming out. We are trying to duplicate this cover, and I've got it in my mind that I'm trying to splice two videos together, but you guys know I'm not a techie, so if this is appearing all by itself, you'll know that I failed miserably and that this one just is gonna have to show up by itself. Hopefully I figured it out, but you know, we'll see. I left off with the underpainting of her skin. We're using Faber Castell Black Edition and also the Skintone set. Right now I'm gonna just jump in and we're gonna work on these. I'm doing the videos just a little bit longer on this one so that we can really concentrate on her, since we're doing everything, the feathers, and you'll see how they kind of have an ombre effect. They are definitely a little more involved, and we've got a paisley situation going on with her dress, so spending a little more time on this one. We might go you know, closer to 45 minutes or an hour on some of these, depending on whether I get this one spliced together. We'll see how it goes. I am not a technological buff. I struggle with that stuff, so you guys will have to bear with me and forgive me my blunders on that. So I'm going to go back in. We're using number 723. I'm going to just kind of move in here. Let me find a spot to sit you guys so you're not bouncing around, hopefully. And let's start up here. Just kind of moving in over these other colors and give her just a new depth of color. You'll see now that we've got those other ones underneath, this kind of goes on a little more smoothly. And with a little bit less effort. These, for whatever reason, guys, these pencils are squeaky on this paper, and I don't have that problem with any other brand. The Faber Castell seems to be a squeaky one, so bear with me on it. Sorry about the squeaks, but I'm not really sure why it does that. But they're such pretty colors, and I definitely wanted to use these shades on her. It's so bizarre. I just don't understand why they squeak. But I'm just using small circles, and that helps make it easier for other colors to blend in. Just kind of using these one layer at a time, deepening up her skin. I think this is about the 4th layer of color. And usually with Amazon paper, I reach a layer limit at about, well, it depends on the pencils too, but usually around 7 or 8. So we're still in good shape. And when I say layer limit, it's just as much as the paper can hold. It's not going to take any more without looking muddy, and it just doesn't blend anymore. It starts to look weird. So it's like that's all it can take. It can't take any more, but we're still a little ways off from that. You'll know when you've reached your layer limit. It just doesn't blend anymore. It doesn't feel smooth anymore. And all paper is a little different. The better the quality of the paper, the more layers. When you have like a really high quality paper, you can put 20, 30 layers on there. It's just incredible. But we know that Amazon kind of, you know, it's not the greatest paper. When they print these for me, they guarantee, I think, 55 to 65 pound paper. But that's as good as I can get. I don't get to choose the paper, unfortunately. I wish I did. But at this point, I do not get to choose the paper. And so we work with what we've got. And our layer limit seems to be around 7, sometimes 8 if we're lucky, depending. And like I said, sometimes it just depends on the pencils that you're using as well. And I'm going over all of her face with this so we can get a nice even shade. Normally I use this color as a blush, but she's a little deeper in color. I figured we could get her skin done in about an hour, so we will see. Now, in the last video, let me see if I've still got this book over here before I start talking about it. In the last video, we were talking about using different things to create, can you make something look this smooth? Because these are painted digitally. These are painted with Painter Essentials 8, an AI program called Arta, and Adobe Photoshop. So there's a lot that gets thrown in on these. You know, is it possible to reach this kind of level with traditional? Absolutely. Can you do it with just pencils? Well, it takes a lot of layers. You know, we're on what, 4 layers, and we're still kind of looking like this. But if you use other things, this is a book called Cinnamon Chai, and this was from last autumn, but I'm looking for, there we go. This was done with markers underneath, and then we went back over and added details with pencils. So you can see that this looks a whole lot smoother. It's got a different look. And if you do the underpainting with marker or a paint, you'll get a different effect. And if you guys are interested in that, we will definitely do some videos on it. I think I used Ohuhu skin tone markers, and those are not super expensive, and they're a very good marker. It's a good quality budget marker. It's not like Copic. I mean, they're kind of like the Caran d'Ache of markers, but they're in a price range that, you know, I buy them open stock, just the colors that I need. I think I own 10 Copic markers, and over the years I've just gone and bought the color that I want when I needed it. I've never bought a set of Copics. But the Ohuhus, I did buy the Skintone set, and at the moment, I'm not going to quote a price because I can't remember exactly, and I'm sure I got them on sale. But they weren't terribly expensive, and I've enjoyed them. So if we do that, and I think we probably will, I think it'll be a fun tutorial for us to do, just to see the different effects that you can get with different art supplies. I'll add the links and everything in the descriptions like I always do. And I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I buy these products with my own money, and I try them out, and if it helps you guys make a decision about stuff that you want in your coloring arsenals, then great. You know, sometimes we think we want something, and then we get it, and we're like, oh no, I'm never going to use that. And you know, if I can try it out and you see it and you're like, nah, I don't think that's for me, and I save you some money and time, great. I'm going to be buying them and trying them anyway. Because I do this, you know, as hobbyists, sometimes it's hard to make an investment in something that you're not sure is really going to be helpful. But, you know, I do this full time, and I'm going to be using them regardless. So I'm happy if I can help you guys make a decision on which supplies are right for you or wrong for you. I love the fact that with Amazon you can send stuff back if it doesn't work for you, but not everybody is interested in taking the time to do, you know, all of that. So it's a time saver all the way around, the way I figure it. My videos are more about the process than the product. So if you guys see something you like, I always link everything I use in the description. Or I try to. If you see something and I don't happen to link it, you know, give me a shout, and I'm always happy to add it. I've done that with the sharpeners a couple of times, and like the Derwent eraser. I try to put everything in there, but you know, I don't always get everything in the description. So don't ever worry, just say, hey, what was that you were using, and I'll always add it if I didn't already. Now I'm going to jump to yet another color, and this one is darker still. This one is number 711. It's kind of a mahogany color. Definitely go in with a light hand on this. Now I'm going to start being a little more choosy about where I put this color down. I'm not going over her entire face with this. But you see how we've built up this color slowly but surely. This is our 5th layer. And we're just, you know, working on this, on these tones and this depth to get what we want. And I'll come in with a little bit lighter to smooth that out. But for right now, I'm kind of just trying to get these deeper tones with her blush. With our squeaky pencils, I have no idea what Faber Castell pencils squeak, but they just do. But they sure are pretty. I really like them, squeaky and all. Now the bottom of the nose is the place that I kind of touch to start. And that's my husband's phone. He's not here, so we'll just ignore that. You guys know my house is noisy, so. Just let it ring. We've got doorbells and dryers and ice makers and fans and all kinds of, you guys are comfortable here. Welcome to my home. Am I happy with that right now? Probably. I'm going to grab a much lighter color and go over this to kind of burnish it out, just to kind of even it. We're not really burnishing, we're just kind of blending to make everything kind of uniform. Let me get you closer. I'm still annoyed with the lines in this. If you guys get a copy that has lines in it or is too dark, send it back. I didn't send this one back because I was impatient and I didn't want to wait for a new copy. I don't get early copies from Amazon. I don't get like an author copy. I get my copies the same time you guys do. And I was impatient. I wanted to start the tutorial, so I didn't send this one back. But if you get a one with lines, you know, like these, basically it looks like they didn't clean the print heads and it didn't get through a quality control before it was shipped out. But if you get one like this, contact Amazon. They will send you a new one. Sometimes they ask you to send it back so that they can look at it and, you know, fix the mistake. But other times they just tell you to keep it, toss it in the trash or whatever while they send you a new one. It's a 50-50. You never know if they're going to ask you to send it back or not. I never, you know, I'm happy to send it back so that they can see what they did wrong. You know, I send them a perfect file. I have no control over how they print it. And it's very discouraging for me when I find out that you guys are getting copies that, you know, aren't perfect. I want you to get a perfect copy every time. But it's kind of out of my hands. That's why I post the flip through on my Facebook page. And I try and always add a link so that you guys can go have a look and know what your book is supposed to look like. And if you get something that's too dark, or if it's overexposed, or if it has lines, when you get your copy, you're like, oh wait, this isn't right. It's not supposed to look like this, and you can send it back. And you know, I want you to do that. I want you guys to have a perfect copy every time. So, you know, definitely follow those links. Go over to my Facebook page or my group page, because I post it there too. And, you know, join the group. You guys join the group. When you click the join button, it'll ask you 4 questions. Please answer those questions, because we can't push you through. We can't get you in the group until those questions are answered. But once you do, you can share your art with us. You can learn more stuff over there, lots of tips and tricks. It's an awesome community. It's all love over there. It's very interactive, but I post a flip through over there so that you can see what every single page is supposed to look like. And if you get a bad copy, you'll know immediately. But yeah, come join the group. Show me your coloring. Show me what you're doing with these books. I love that. Show me what you're learning in the tutorials. I'm sorry, I'm bouncing you guys around like crazy. I'm super sorry. But, yeah, definitely come join the group. If you're learning here, you'll learn there too. It'll be fun. And I'm just going to go over this real quick and smooth it out. And then we'll probably leave off of the skin for a few minutes and we'll work on something else. And we'll come back to it if we need to. I'm going to add some blush, I think, definitely, but not quite yet. I think we'll go for her hair next. But yeah, going back over it with a really light color that's in the same color family will blend everything in nicely. And I usually say, you know, some people use the white pencil, some people use a cream or an ivory. For me, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. I like to keep it in the same color family so that it doesn't distort your original color. You know, if you go over it with white, sometimes it can lighten it up too much. Or if you go over it with cream, it adds too much yellow or blah, blah, blah. I like to use a color if it's in a set. Obviously, you're not going to stray too far from your original color theme, and that's important to me. If it doesn't matter to you, or white's all you've got, or cream, you know, absolutely. It just helps to kind of smooth everything out. So that if you've got, like I said, those little circles or whatever, this kind of smooths it all out into one nice, you know, solid, smooth color. So you don't have to do this You can do it if you want to. I usually do it on larger patches of skin just for that porcelain look. It does definitely lend a more of a porcelain doll effect. Okay, I'm gonna leave the skin for a few, and let's jump over. If I can get my pencils out of the way. I've got pencils everywhere, you guys. Let's see, let's look at the cover. Okay, she has this pretty turquoise hair. I think we can definitely duplicate that. So I'm going to stick with the Faber Castell Black Edition. First color I'm going to grab is this 736. And I'm just going to kind of go in here and add these deeper shadows. I'm just kind of following along the hairline. And we're not going dramatic or anything yet because we have more layers to do. We'll have lots more colors working their way in there. So right now we're just kind of getting the suggestion in here, knowing where we're going. I'm just kind of grabbing and pulling. Nice long flicks, like long lashes. Kind of work your way around. And I'm going to kind of darken this just a little bit because we have that brighter turquoise going over it. And we definitely want these deeper tones underneath. That'll make it shiny. Give it that shine later. You can't have the light without a really good dark base. Always keep that in mind. I'm going to take 775 kind of do the same thing. We're just going to work our way in. Just kind of work your way around. Remember, hair is kind of like eyes. It has a lot of different colors in it to give the illusion of one color. Being an artist is kind of like being a magician. A lot goes into making you think you see something. When it's just a lot of pigment and paper and lines. You can see how that darker blue is peeking out of there and giving it a lot of depth. And we might have to go back in with that blue, or maybe even one that's a little darker than that later on. But you don't have to color every strand. You have to, you know, let the grayscale work for you. I say that a lot. Your eye fills in a lot. You'd be surprised. Get one that has a little more green in it. Number 740. Now you don't want to get rid of all of the white, because that's your, you know, your highlight. We'll go over it with a lighter color too, but you know, leaving some of that there is going to help you with your highlight. And this color is bright enough that, you know, a little kind of goes a long way with it. go for with a little more green. It's kind of a teal color. $7.08. And it's lighter. And we're going to pull this down a little farther. And it starts to look more like shine. We're just kind of adding this to the lighter areas, but we're not completely covering them. And as we get down here, we're going to be a little more strategic with the placement, because this is a little more shadowy. But you would think that you could just go in with one color to achieve this teal colored hair, but that's actually not the case. You really need to work in a lot of colors to give it that realistic effect. The more you have, you know, if you just use that one monotone color, you're not going to get the vibrancy, you're not going to get the fullness, you're not going to get the effect that you would get by using all these other colors. And you can kind of see it coming together. It gives it volume. And these are the tricks, my friends. These are the tricks. One more. It's a little bit lighter. This one is $7.59. And I'm really pulling this color up closer to those shiny highlights. The next color will be white, so that we can really, you know, dig in there with those shiny spots. But the lightest color is always going to go where the light source is hitting. And I chose a green that's got a bit of a yellow hue to it, just to give it a little warmth. And remember, everywhere you touch this is going to look like a highlight, like the light is touching it there. So, you know, just kind of pick and choose where you want that to be. This is actually the white from Posca, but it's still white. It doesn't really matter. It's just the one I have laying closest. I'm just gonna go right through this highlighted area. It's supposed to shine the brightest, just to brighten that up a little bit. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go crazy with it, but it does help intensify those highlights. And I'll go back to that darker blue color that we were using before. Just kind of pull this down. Just to make sure that we have everything nice and balanced. And as you can see, we've used all the same colors. I'll go back to the cover. We've got this cute little hair going on. Now, is it as, deep and shiny as the digital coloring? No. But we've got all the same colors. If we had done an under painting with a marker, we probably would have achieved the same realism. But that's something that we can work on next time, or in our next coloring adventure. We absolutely can. But I think we'll leave it here for the day because we're already at about 45 minutes. We definitely did chug along on this one, didn't we? If this was helpful, I would appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up. That helps other people find the channel, people who are looking to find art channels with tips and tricks, and they can hang out with us and become a badass artist. If you'd like, please subscribe to the channel. That way you'll always know when I upload a new video. I try to do it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sometimes we get 2 videos a day. Sometimes we get, some on the weekends. But you'll always know, you'll always be notified when I upload something new. Okay, everybody, I'll see you next time.